Hi everyone, welcome back to Coffee Books and Rain, where we are actually reviewing a book that has been blowing up on Instagram and Goodreads, and now I think it's like Good Morning America. What is it? Good Morning America like book, I don't know. Does everybody have a book club now? I think it's a Good Morning America book club, but anyway, I was able to actually get an advanced reader copy from NetGalley, and I was blown away because I think I had requested this book pretty soon after it hit NetGalley, before it had blown up, but it looked really cool. And so it's Heir by Sabaa Tahir, and I was like, well, I know she's amazing, and this is the first of a duology, so I was like, yes, please, may I have some? And so I just kind of extended my hand, and I got approved. But I didn't want to do a review too soon because even though I know people are like literally waiting on pins and needles for this book to come out, I still wanted to be respectful of the fact that it comes out October 1st, which I'm hoping to release this September 30th, like the day before it releases. And my goal is to not give any spoilers. That is my ultimate goal, is you got to go out there, you got to read it for yourself, because I loved it. I had a phenomenal time reading it. This is so much going on that you really need to pick it up. Those 500 pages, yes, it is a girthy boy. It is a thick boy. Or girl. I mean, it's about to hear. And there are several characters, but it's a chunky thing, and it will definitely fly by really quickly. It did for me. I was just like page after page on my e-reader. So let's dive into the summary and we will go from there. Prepare for the action-packed, ruthless, and romantic new fantasy from the #1 New York Times best-selling and National Book Award-winning author Sabaa Tahir about love, legacy, and vengeance. An orphan, an outcast, a prince, and a killer who will bring an empire to its knees. Dun, dun, dun. Growing up in the Kigari slums, and I'm going to say it's Aiz, or it's Aiz. Aiz. See, here's the thing, is when I read it, I don't know the exact pronunciation, so please, I am probably butchering these names, or at least that one, but is Aiz, has seen her fair share of suffering. An old tragedy fuels her need for vengeance, but it is love of her people that propels her, until one hot-headed mistake lands her in an inescapable prison. Man, all of those little just did not want to work with my face today. Where the embers of her wrath ignite. Banished from her tribe, an unforgivable crime for an unforgivable. We're gonna make it through this, I promise you. Saoirse is a down-on-her-luck tracker who speaks to the earth, air, and water to trace her marks. Destitute, she agrees to hunt down a killer who has murdered children across the empire. All she has to do is carry out the job and get paid. But then she falls for a charismatic, inconvenient fugitive who keeps getting in her way. Quill is the crown prince of the empire, nephew of a famed and venerated empress, but he's loath to pick up the mantle when his aunt steps down. As the son of the most hated emperor in the history of his people, he, better than anyone, understands that power corrupts. When a vicious new enemy threatens the survival of the empire, Quill must ask himself if he can rise above this tragic lineage as the heir his people needs. So I'm going to go ahead and stop there because there's just a little bit more, but I don't think it just really talks about the interweaving of these three young people's lives and the treachery of love and all this sort of thing. Now, this book is a roller coaster of so many different things going on. Definitely giving it 5 stars. I don't even know if I always tell you guys if I'm giving something 5 stars or not. You're welcome to go check my Goodreads. I think it's called Hope Anchor. But I am on there as well. That's where I will always be posting my. I go on Netflix. Words. Words are hard today. I go on NetGalley and then I pull up Goodreads at the same time, and then because NetGalley, I like because they have offered me my arc, I write my review, and I'm like, NetGalley, thank you so much. This is my review, and then for Goodreads, I also there write my review for them, and then I copy just the link where I have shared it in Goodreads, and that way I can share it over in NetGalley that I have also written a review in a public forum. Now I do want to also like apparently I just realized that NetGalley will do LinkedIn, but anyway, off topic. Let's get back to this. But I always go on there, leave my reviews. This book was so good. It's so well written. The characters, like, you like them, but they all are flawed in different ways, which is good. That means they're dynamic in ways that works for them, and it works for me as a reader as well. There are some of them are likable enough that you do want to root for them. Some of them you want to see them maybe come out on the other side, do better, be better, all that sort of thing. There is a lot of that, which is great. I think there is a lot of ability to find different characters that you will kind of want to cheer for or root for. Quill has several people, kind of what I would call in his entourage. He is heir apparent, part of his kingdom. And so when things start to go a little sideways with that, they like shove him on a boat and say like, get safe, my dude. And they kind of hop on the boat with him, and that's kind of where they stumble across Saoirse. But that's like not the beginning of Saoirse's story, nor is that the beginning of Quill's story either, because I want to say that's a good third of the way into the book when we even start to see some of the paths cross for these characters. You do get about a third of the way through the book before these three main characters start to weave together. And when there was one revelation that came up for me, I was like, wait a minute, what? And then I was like, okay, what? I actually didn't realize, and I'm only going like, is it a spoiler if I say it? There was a thing I realized. I didn't know we had done a thing. I'm trying to be so vague because I think when you read the chapter, it may seem a little confusing until you realize what the author has done. And that's when it made something else pretty clear for me. And I was like, oh no. That was an oh no moment for me, which made me go forward in the story even faster, because now I needed to see how the rest of that was going to play out. So we start with Aiz, A-I-Z, Aiz, maybe Aiz. But anyway, she seems to be an orphan who's part of a temple, and she is hell-bent, very first, right off the bat. She is determined that she is going to take out this one particular guy. She has kind of made him kind of her on-again, off-again lover, and she kind of gotten in good with him, so she feels as though now is the time. Things don't work out so well for her at that particular moment because apparently he knew, or he knew that she knew. There was a whole he knew she knew sort of thing going on, and he was ready for it. He was ready for, let's say, the knife to fall, so to speak. And instead of just her being blamed, some other people also get caught up in the mix. And so she really does torture herself a lot about that with regards to kind of what happens. And she is a storyteller. So while she's in confinement, she is telling stories. And so there is I guess it's like a goddess or a prophetess or kind of like their deity of sorts. It's like Mother Div, I think is what it is, who had these 9 tails. Well, Eyes only has 8 of those tails because apparently there's like this telling that like the ninth tale is hidden until something else happens. So that's kind of cool as well, because there's like little stories within stories, and so cool. Well, then we kind of go over to Quill. Quill being, of course, this heir, kind of, I don't want to say heir apparent, but he is. His aunt is currently acting as Empress Regent, or Regent Empress. She is holding the throne until he is ready to take it. She doesn't really want it. She is really trained more as a fighter, but she is waiting until he feels ready to take this role. And so, pretty much by the next summer, or in the next like year or so, she's pretty much gonna foist it upon him, and she's gonna be like, "Here you go. I'm done. It's yours now. Here's your country. Here's your empire." And he is still not wanting it. He is absolutely like, "Do I have to?" But he's starting to kind of understand, because even though his aunt is pretty hard on him, I do think it's something that needs to be done. There is some level of communication I wish was better between them, especially if you're going to kind of portray him as like a 20-ish year old, and she's still kind of making decisions for his personal life that I was like, well, it's probably good for the country, but like maybe we have a conversation about those things. Something, I don't know. Questionable. Anyway, the book is so good. If you want to be able to escape, if you like stuff like, okay, so Fourth Wing is a little bit more kind of action adventure. This one's action adventure, but it's a little more vengeance, and like there's some loyalty issues and stuff like that. We're not in a school with dragons in this one. We are definitely in the middle of a war in this one, and we are trying to avoid dying, and we are trying to also kind of regain the crown, which, I mean, the book is called Heir, so we are trying to do a thing, and there is supposed to be a second book. It is considered a duology, at least according to Goodreads, so if we've got this girthy 500 page book already sitting before us, I can only imagine what the next one's going to be. I'm going to be keeping my eyeballs on the NetGalley to just try to see when it pops up. I mean, it's going to be a while, I'm certain, but don't underestimate me. I can check it. I will definitely check it. But I was really impressed. I definitely did not expect so much emotion to be packed in this book. I think I was thinking there was going to be a little bit more. Now, yes, it does have YA elements. It would be considered a YA read, but I do think there are some mature kind of thought processes from some of the characters, which is really good. And I like that they're not always so cringy quippy at each other. So, because when you sometimes get kind of what I would say young adult, adolescent adults, like, you sometimes get people who write them a little bit immaturish, even in their adulthood. So I'm glad that, yes, they do have senses of naivety, but they're also coming into their maturity as well as we progress through this book, and it's worth it. I like this book so much. I am really, really, like, I'm really excited to see where we go. I cannot wait, and I am so glad I had this on my radar. Yee! Anyway, but I will stop there because I hope that I didn't provide any spoilers. I really didn't want to do that. I simply wanted to give you a book review that would give you a nugget of maybe what you kind of might have in store for you. I like the magic system that's being used in here because I think it is different than what I've kind of seen in other various elements. Some of it's like tracking magic and things like that, as we get with Saoirse, but also there's other little bits of magic as well that come up that are pretty cool as well, but it's not like overtly done. It seems as though magic is not like a norm for people, and so I kind of like when it's more of a scarcity rather than a normality. And so, anyway, thank you so much for tuning in. I hope you will like and subscribe. I hope you will stick around for more episodes as we've just passed the 100 subscriber threshold. Yay. Thank you guys so very much. I love being able to do these book reviews. Honestly, I just really like talking about books. I ramble at you guys, and if you like it, thank you. And if you want to hear more, just books in general, I am part of a podcast called Books Are Magical, and it's on most streaming platforms as well. So you're welcome to go out and find that and see what you think. I will talk to you guys later. Have a great one.